on there is the house bill. It's adding a contract.
Is it on mine?
Yes.
Just a new one on there.
What you trying to do?
Good Lord. 3 pages.
Can you pass one of those to Chris too?
Our Wi-Fi's down. It's probably
I got up here and the
my
iPad's working
computer's
here.
working.
Scott's working on a tower. Crazy.
I think so. We can't reach our server.
Alright, thank you.
Do you hear the audio?
I think I've got time. I'm ready to go extra too.
Michael went to off. He'd be interested in being a staging area. People want him to
He'll probably charge.
He's not programming.
He's going to charge somebody.
Y'all, what's wrong with y'all this morning? I don't know. I hadn't heard from her.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Before we start the proceedings, we're going to open up with a word of prayer. Thomas, you want to lead us, please?
Be glad to. Let's pray. Dear most gracious Heavenly Father, we are thankful to come together here today to conduct the business of your county as free people. We thank you so much for that privilege of living free, and Lord, we want to take a moment to recognize and honor those who have fallen protecting those freedoms. Lord God, as we just celebrated yesterday, those who gave the ultimate sacrifice, we're mindful of them, we're appreciative of them, and we love them. Thank you for those who answer the call to serve, Lord God. Lord God, as you've seen us through a storm here the last couple of days, we're also mindful and thankful of all those who are there to answer the call of people in need, our first responders, our 911 communicators, and Lord, firefighters. The judge has worked just so hard in helping all of us get put back in order. We're just thankful of those, Lord, who have the heart to serve, and we thank you so very much for that. Lord God, again, just be with us today. Give us the wisdom that we need to conduct ourselves in a manner that's pleasing and glorifying to you and good for our community. We pray this in the beautiful, wonderful name of Jesus. Amen.
Good morning, everyone. We'll call this meeting to order by saying Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. We'll start out this morning by a big thank you to all volunteers, first responders, our Emergency Operations Center, firefighters, our power and line crews for the work that they've done this weekend. Unfortunately, disasters like this really open our eyes up to where we lack. And I want this county to know that it's at the forefront of my attention, and I'm working on it, and we're going to have some pretty serious discussions in the near future about correcting these issues. First off, let's go ahead and start with approval of minutes.
Move to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second for approval of minutes. With that being, and no further discussion, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Next up, we have an amendment, amend the agenda to add the approval of updated House Bill 556 amendment as item number 11.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. No further discussion. Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. All right. Next up, representative from the Barron River Health Department to present to the court. Good morning.
Good morning. I have physical copies for anybody that wants one of these. I think that they sent it so you guys could watch on that, but if you want the physical copy, I have one, or I have several.
I'm good. Got it right here.
Do you all want one? And I will begin. So my name is Cherry Crow, and I'm actually a UK healthcare employee, but I'm contracted through the health department, and I coordinate the syringe exchange programs that we have in the health department. So what I'm going to do today, I'm just going to kind of give you guys an overview of what we do and why we do what we do. Okay? So the syringe services program goal of the Barron River District Health Department is to reduce the transmission of bloodborne pathogens including HIV and hepatitis C among vulnerable populations by decreasing the sharing and improper disposal of used syringes. So strategies that we're going to use to meet this goal is to provide sterile needles and injection supplies, provide safe containers to dispose of dirty or used needles, and then we provide HIV and other bloodborne pathogen testing, screening, and counseling. Education on proper disposal, safe injection practices, overdose prevention, which includes Narcan, and then referring and linking participants to treatment services and other health services or social services. So the next one, you see this map. So in 2015, the CDC decided to do a survey to see what counties in the United States were going to be vulnerable for a HIV outbreak. So in this study that they did, there were 220 counties identified in the United States, but 54 of those counties are in Kentucky. Yes. So the stars that you see on the map are those syringe exchange programs that are already up and running. And I think we have 84, maybe 85 now, because we just had Evanston County approved. So moving on to the next slide, the HIV impact on Kentucky and Barren River. There is a total of 12,034 cumulative HIV infections diagnosed as of December 31st of 2022. Of those HIV infections, 31% have progressed to AIDS. There were 393 new infections diagnosed in 2021, and 21% of those 393 were transmitted through injection drug use. So the next slide, you can see it just breaks it down by county, and Logan County has the third highest number for total cases of HIV in the Barren River region, and then the total living with HIV disease. The next slide is we're gonna talk about hepatitis C a little bit. A lot of the people that we do see in our program test positive for hep C, and then we can refer those people to be treated because there is now a cure for hep C. So if you're not familiar with what hep C is, it is a liver infection that's caused by the hepatitis C virus. Most people who are infected today, it is because of sharing needles or other drug equipment. 70 to 85% of people infected with acute HCV or hepatitis C will develop long-term chronic infection. There is no vaccine for hep C, so we know that there are vaccines for hep A and hep B, which we can also offer through our program. And then there are approximately 78,000 people living with hepatitis C in Kentucky, and 99% of those can be cured now. So on the next slide, you can see just the cost analysis. So for us to see a Kentucky syringe services participant throughout the year, it could cost $125 to $1,000. And this is us testing them, us giving them the supplies they need to use safely, and to also have the supplies they need to keep the needles off of our streets, out of our communities, things like that. So then moving on to the next part there, you can see that it's about $20,000 to treat a hep C infection, and then it can be anywhere from $21,000 to $54,000 to treat an HIV infection in a year. So with the HIV treatment, that's per year. That's going to be medication that they're going to be on for the remainder of their lives.
One person.
One person. Yes, ma'am. So, okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about myths versus facts, because a lot of people have a lot of misinformation when it comes to syringe services programs. So the first myth is that syringe services programs only distribute needles. A lot of people think that all we do is just throw needles out the door, but that's not the case. So syringe services programs actually provide a variety of services such as counseling, treatment referrals, resources to prevent overdose, such as the Narcan distribution and training, HIV and hep C testing, and then referrals for those, safe and clean equipment, safe sex supplies, syringes, vaccines. The evidence we have to support this is that syringe services programs distribute free sterile syringes to people who inject drugs, which reduces the likelihood of sharing equipment, which also reduces the spread of disease. Syringe services programs safely dispose of used needles, a service which is not typically provided by other organizations. And they also keep neighborhoods safer by reducing needle stick injuries. The next myth is that syringe services programs increase injection drug use by undermining public safety. So facts are that statistics show syringe services programs actually improve public safety. They connect people who inject drugs with treatment and are associated with reduced crime, and it promotes public safety. The evidence to support this is that new participants are 5 times more likely to enter substance use disorder treatment and 3 times more likely to stop using drugs than those who do not use the program. So if we have these people out here in our communities and they just continue to use, they don't go anywhere to seek help or anything like that, they're never going to get that treatment. So if we have this program, they can come in. We can give them the referrals that they need. That's going to be a lot of their first step is seeing us in any clinical setting. It also reduces transmission of HIV and Hep C throughout the community. It protects the public through safe syringe disposal. You're not going to have the needles laying around on your street if people are disposing of them properly. And then it also helps reduce first responder needle sticks. The last myth is supporting injection drug users is not an efficient use of public resources. Money is saved by alleviating people who inject drugs' reliance on public sector resources, and syringe services programs are highly cost effective. The evidence to support that is the lifetime cost of treating an HIV positive person is estimated to be between $385,000 to $618,000. HIV positive people who inject drugs often rely on Medicaid and Medicare or Ryan-like programs. So the program that I work through UK, a lot of our funding helps to buy those, a lot of the things, the supplies that we need to run the syringe services program. So every dollar invested in syringe services results in $3 to $7 in savings just by preventing new infections. A few facts about syringe services programs: they do save lives by preventing the spread of disease. They're good for everyone, which includes people who inject drugs, first responders, law enforcement, and general public safety. Because of the misuse now and because of the rise in overdose, the distribution of Narcan is a good plus for the communities to help save lives. It can also help reduce health disparities between racial and ethnic groups by increasing access to health care, and they do have broad support for medical, legal, and public health, faith-based, and local communities. So some of the benefits are the detox and drug treatment program referrals that we can give to people, medical, dental, and mental health service referrals, vaccinations, HIV testing, treatment and counseling, housing services, safe sex supplies and education, overdose prevention, and then prevention for non-injectors, which would also be treatment referrals, testing, things like that.
Housing. How do you help them with that?
It's just we have the resources available to help them find housing.
Find housing.
Yes, not that we have actual housing resources like that we can put them in, but just utilizing community resources. So steps for a syringe services program, it goes to the local Board of Health first, and then it's approved there. Then it goes typically to fiscal court, and then the city council. Then we would train the health department staff, and the program will be open. So with Logan County, it's already been approved through the local Board of Health and through the city council. The fiscal court is the last entity that we need approval from. So the syringe exchange programs that we do have currently, there are 3 operating syringe services programs in the Barren River District: Warren, Barren, and Park. Through those 3 programs, we have collected 580,000 syringes. We have distributed, just through the syringe exchange program, over 2,000 doses of Narcan. And we just got approval for Edmonson County, so that one will be opening on July 2nd. Does anyone have any questions?
Well, I do.
Yes.
All the statistics sound wonderful,
Yes, ma'am.
but is this dependent on the people in the need for these programs to come to you? I mean, by word of mouth. I'm wondering what your percentage of people that need the services versus the ones that actually come to you.
So, it is a lot of word of mouth because people who use drugs, they use together. So it is word of mouth. And the biggest way for us to get people to in is to build that trust, because people who use drugs are not going to come to our program if they don't trust us. So we just have to work really hard to build those relationships with those people. We go to the jails to advertise that we have this program now. One of the counties that we started, Hart County, before we started that, we put a survey out in the jail just to see how it would be received through that community. And that was really good for us, for the support for us getting that.
So the inmates themselves.
Took the survey, yes. Yes, ma'am.
I'm guessing a lot of your participants are from the jails.
I mean, a lot of people who use drugs have a criminal.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's kind of a,
Not everyone that uses drugs has a criminal history.
no.
but a lot of
I
them.
didn't insinuate
Yeah.
that,
Oh,
and you
no,
didn't
I'm not
either.
saying it.
Okay. Just curious about that.
I mean, we've heard this before, and all the things that you've mentioned, most of the things that you mentioned are, I think are great programs. The education part, and then people coming in, you talking with the people, educating them, and me personally, I'll never say never. I will not support giving someone new needles when I know knowingly that they're going to put illegal drugs in them. I'm just never going to support that. I just can't. I mean, all the other education I think is beneficial, going to the jails, all the other things you mentioned, but I just don't think it's the right, I don't think the right thing to do is to give someone a new needle knowingly that an illegal drug is going in that needle. Just can't support that.
Well, I actually thought that same thing too, and I've thought that for a long time, but I also think of everything she's talking about, the HIV, the hepatitis C. If these people are addicts, they're going to use it regardless of whether they have clean needles or dirty needles. And the point of this program is to invoke the help, because what happens when that person uses a dirty needle, subjected just to hepatitis C or HIV, and now they're affecting others around them by leaving these needles laying around.
So giving them new needles, is that going to prevent them from reusing that needle?
I
But as
think
somebody
that-
that come across it on the street for nearly 20 years, I'd much rather come across one and potentially be stuck with one that's only been used once or twice versus one that's been used 100 times by 20, 30 different people. And then, like the judge said, regardless, I feel the same way, and until I sat through their program and was educated more, because I felt like I was condoning it too, but like the judge said, they're gonna use it regardless. Why not offer something clean and educate them in the process, and hopefully try to convince them and get them to get away from their addiction? But you gotta build that trust. And that
I'm 100% for educating, trying to get them off the street, educate them. I mean, they're off the street, a lot when they're going to your jail. You're educating them. So,
Yes.
But this allows them, when they're in jail, this allows them a place to go get educated and learn this. If they're not offering that resource, the next thing you know, as soon as they're out there picking up a needle off the ground, or who knows where they're getting these needles, and they're injecting themselves, and
it's not just about us protecting those people and giving them clean needles. We want to protect our communities too.
Exactly. That's the whole purpose of this.
well, and also if I support something that gave somebody a new needle that was new a year ago, and they've used it 20 times, and then it kills somebody, I mean, I just don't. I can't put just that small piece of it, of all the things you talked about. I can't go along with that.
But there's so much more than just the needle. There's the education. It's building that trust, as
Yeah.
they spoke about, building that trust of allowing them a location they can come to where maybe they have the opportunity to find a resource that can get them away from this addiction. I mean, I understand exactly what you're
Even
saying.
the disposal, the disposal devices, I mean, I think that's okay as far as disposing, even if they're, throw that out on the road and the needles are inside the disposal units. I mean, I think
But
that's
these people are
beneficial.
addicts, and they're not going to, they're only thinking of getting high at this point. They're not thinking.
We do try to hold them accountable. So the syringe program is a 1-for-1. So we're not going to give them anything that they're not exchanging for 1-for-1. So.
Sheriff, I know your department deals with this as much as anybody. Do you have any comments on this?
Well, honestly, I'm kind of like Tyler. I struggle with it because I do feel like it promotes, but after listening to more and doing all that, I think it does have an advantage that is good for the community. So, I mean, I support it as well with them. I think the education part is a big part, and I kind of feel, but I still feel the same way with Tyler. So that's part of the education that I guess you can put it out there, but how it gets absorbed is on that individual, not you guys. You guys do a phenomenal job of trying to educate the public and trying to provide that service. But honestly, I wasn't sure about Narcan, but now I have learned very quickly that Narcan has saved lives. Our use of Narcan has dropped dramatically since you guys set up those stations and provided that to the public, and now it's access to the public. So that kind of turned me to, yes, the needle program probably does have the same effect. It's hard not to look at it as you're promoting the use of drugs. I mean, that's just, nobody likes seatbelts until all that changed, and then obviously the seatbelt saves lives. So, in my personal opinion and professional opinion, I think it's a program that's valuable to the community. Again, they can't help how some are going to abuse it. I think some people may do drugs more because they have Narcan available, but there's no doubt both programs work hand in hand. And if you save one life, then that's a lot. So it's important.
And that again is what we're trying to do. We're just trying to save people's lives.
Oh, yeah, I have no doubt about that.
The
Yeah.
spread of disease too.
You said,
I just think there's a lot of the program, 99% of the program I think is great until you lure them in with new needles. Just my opinion.
you said Logan County was the third highest in the state.
No, in our region, in the Bear River region.
Oh, that's a comfort. I misunderstood that. I was going to say. Okay.
What do
And
you,
those
what do you see in the way of, like, I guess, seeing the same people?
So we have seen people that after they come, they use less. If they have found out that they have one of the diseases, they get into treatment. Some people we can get into substance use disorder treatment. And if somebody comes in and they say, I want to go to treatment, right then, everything stops. We're going to do what we can to get in a bed that day, because 5 minutes from now, they may not want to go to treatment.
Yeah.
It's 10 counties. I'd have to look at my map.
Okay.
This is a problem that affects everybody, and I agree, Tyler, with everything you're saying about the needle. You feel like you're enabling these people, but kids or sheriff's deputies or anyone that just happens to run up on these needles, and it's you're endangering others. Is it going to stop it? No. But you can't let that 1% destroy the other 99.
Yeah, I mean, that's very, that was my point is, I think we all provide as much as we can. People still are gonna make the wrong choice, but we have to remember, it is a smaller percentage than there is good going on. And that's hard for us on our end because we see the bad way before we see the good, but we do see good. But you know, it's there. It's a very valuable tool for communities.
What, Christie's?
I was, I mean, are you looking
We're looking
to
for,
take action today or?
yeah, yes, I'd like, I think they're looking for approval from fiscal court to allow the health department to provide the syringe service program in
Okay,
Logan
and we're
County.
looking at how much?
Nothing.
I do deeply, truly understand, and I struggle with this,
Don't cost us money.
but
That's not gonna
the
affect
big
us.
picture, unfortunately, we're in a time where the big picture proves that this is way more effective than ineffective.
That's federal.
Drug addicts are
That's-
going to do. I see Grace Recovery's here right now. I see they're here. They deal with this every day. The jail deals with this every day. I see a bunch of people from the health department and beyond. And I'm convinced that this is something that we in the county we as the county need to talk about, or actually go ahead and push through, actually. Yes, ma'am. Selena, you want to come on up?
I'll just say while she's coming up, you know, I've been a prosecutor for 17 years now, and I spend probably large portions of my docket trying to help people get into rehab. So if they ever have success getting people there without the court system, that's a win, and that's a good thing. So I would share similar thoughts to the sheriff and the jailer that I do think it's a good and worthwhile program. And I'll just say, working with the two of them, I know they struggle with that, so the fact that they see the good in that is a strong endorsement for the benefit of this program and the protections to keep them ending up with the needle sticks.
My name is Selena Blick, and I work at the Logan County Health Department. I'm just going to pass these to you. I was part of the group that put the Narcan distribution boxes within the county. So this is a list of the different locations within the county right now. The far column on the right talks about how often that we go by. There's a couple of locations that I am going by twice a week. And as of this morning, because I did have one of the large newspaper stands fly away over the weekend, but I found it and was able to put it back in its spot this morning. But as of this morning, since February, we have put out 410 boxes of Narcan. So there are a lot of people who are utilizing this program in just a few months. So I do believe that there's a number of people, and it may be the individuals who use drugs that are using it, but it's also the family members.
That's what I was wondering.
The family members who just want to have something just in case, or have a resource just in case their family member or neighbor or friend comes to them and says, man, I wish there was something that could help me. So they are, they are also the family members and friends who are getting these Narcan boxes just to have, just in case, that they might be someone that they can save their life. I think the syringe service program would be another resource that they could turn those people to. So I thought you guys might be interested to know
Thank
in
you.
a very short amount of time how many boxes we put out. It's not on there, but I did the log this morning. It's 410.
It's the same as it was at the health board meeting last week, I think.
Well, I don't know that I gave that. I gave that.
Yeah, you
at
gave
the Board
this.
of Health, but I did not go through and tell you how many I put out. The column all the way to the Narcan given, that was initial Narcan given. Like when I gave them a box, here's how many it was. That's not showing how many.
Okay.
I have a logbook of how many I've given out, and I did the count this morning, and again, it was 410 that we've given out since February.
I have a recommendation.
Yes, ma'am.
I think, it's saying third highest in our region, but we are a large county
It's true.
and we are rural. So, people feel anonymity with that. Say we do this adaptation of your Safe Needle program and so forth. Could we have a follow-up to court, like I'm not trying to put extra burden on the woman who just, oh, there she is. Or I would like to hear, if we do this, I would like to hear a difference you've seen.
So actually, since you bring it up,
Okay.
every 3 months I create infographics that give a detailed, what all we do in the program, the needles we've given out or that we've taken in, how many clients we see, the referrals that we're able to do. I create infographics for all of our counties that have syringe exchange programs. So we would be happy to do that and bring that back to you all.
And so we would see if you were seeing an improvement
Yes, ma'am.
in people having the big issues because you're cutting it off earlier. Is that what we're really looking at? The final, yeah, I don't want to say death, but the final result of this could be curtailed by cutting off part of the problems ahead of time.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, we don't really know how many lives we're saving, but
Yeah.
as Sheriff Stratton said, I mean, they're getting less calls, so.
Yeah, no, it's been useful stuff.
We don't know how it's being used,
Yeah.
but through our ASAP board, which I'm a coordinator for as well.
Narcan is just, it's been tremendous. I mean, and again, I was just like, ooh, I don't know, but a lot of our overdose were individuals at home with someone in another room, and they had no idea what was going on. But if they had Narcan, they probably would have saved that person. And that's just like, we were using it 2 or 3 times a week. And honestly, I don't remember the last time.
So Ginger would get the calls.
Between y'all and the fire departments,
Yeah.
those people used a lot.
Do you think that y'all are not having to use as much because now it's so readily available for everybody else to just use it themselves?
I agree, yeah. I mean, it is.
We'll get
But
calls.
again, families are using it, I think, more than the individual drug users. But there are people that have no family that just have other addicts, and it's saving lives. I mean, and maybe it's a wake up call. Honestly, it doesn't wake everybody up, and they still continue to do it. It's just that bad of a situation that they're in. But again, it's kind of if you do something to prevent one thing, you probably create it. You're in the right path, and it's just individuals are going to make those choices regardless.
We get calls and they tell us they've already administered Narcan
Yeah.
Oh,
before, when they call us.
the
And
third.
then, I never thought about it, but having a teenage son, I mean, I'd like to think that he would never do anything like that, but you never know. I've even thought about
I mean,
having it in my
unfortunately,
house. Just
first
being safe
responders
side.
wise, we carry things when we're not on duty, and Narcan has become one of those. It's right there with your tourniquet, your blood stop, your gun.
I have a question,
Yes, ma'am.
and probably it's an ignorant question. Does Narcan, when like, I don't do drugs. Really. But
She had a friend.
like a person like me that does not do it or anything like that, does Narcan, if you were to administer Narcan to a person that does not, does it do anything to it? Does
I
it
could
speed,
give
does it
myself-
hide, does it, nothing?
I could give myself Narcan right now. It wouldn't do anything.
Okay. It doesn't benefit like somebody who does not do drugs.
No.
It's not something they go
It's-
like, it's me some Narcan,
No, it's safe
Pop
for
it.
babies, pregnant mothers.
Okay,
It's
okay.
safe for animals.
That's how much I know
Yeah,
about it,
it's
so
safe.
And you might think this is crazy, but I support Narcan. I've seen it save kids, like in the schools, that it's because they were given something that they didn't know what it was, A little different situation, I think, than handing out needles, but yeah, I mean, for sure, the Narcan is a good program, and
So what that means
the city hall waiting for a response. Well, thought that was kind of odd. Is that just something that y'all are? How long has that been? Y'all been trying to get Lewisburg City Hall to?
Oh, I don't know if I have a date wrote on there or not. I rode out there and stopped to visit, had a cabinet with me, and spoke with two ladies through the drive-through window, and they came out talking. The mayor was not there at the time, so I left my business card, and I have since emailed and called. What I need to do is drive back out there again, but I've had no response, even though I've left messages. We do, and my thinking was, because our county is so large, I wanted to have distribution in a couple of key areas. Thinking about the cities that have parks, a little bit larger areas, people gather. So Auburn was one of the locations. They have two. They have one at City Hall, which is right on the square. They do a lot of community events. They're doing more and more all the time. You know, they have music come and festivals and things like that.
I think the first ones installed were
We
in
also put
January.
one and, at the park at Auburn. And then I went and drove out to Adairville and spoke with them, and they took a cabinet and mounted it on the wall outside of their city hall building as well. So Lewisburg would be another place that I would be interested in having just a cabinet that people could access. Because again, it's an access point to people, for people to get medication that they can save some money. So yeah, if you want to put in a word.
Well, I think right now is, you know, a lot of people are listening, so how's your word?
Yeah, so Lewisburg, we're looking to put one there. If not at City Hall, then I'm probably going to be looking for individual businesses that own their own property that might be willing to be a location where someone could access them.
Teddy Harper's former mayor, he might be able to, he might have an inside to get in there. And he said he's out.
I did want to mention too that we have one in Warren, and that program is pretty busy, but the ones in Barron and Hart are not, but it is an available resource if people needed it. So we don't have as many participants for those programs, but again, it's available.
When someone comes and asks for new needles, what information are they required to provide you? Or are they not required to provide you anything?
So we come up with a unique ID, which is the first two letters of their first name, first two letters of their last name, the year they were born, and the last two of their social. So we use a state program called Red Cap. You guys are familiar with Red Cap. And so that's where all of the information goes. We do ask like their birthday, their zip code, things like that. So when I also do the report, I can pull and see if there are people coming to syringe exchange programs that are outside the area they live in.
Question.
Yeah.
So I guess for me with the syringe service program, I do think it's a good thing. And I think the 1-for-1 on the needle exchange, I think that's the kicker for me. So with that being said, I'll put it into a form of a motion to approve it for Logan County Fiscal Court.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and I have a
Thank
second.
y'all.
Thank you.
Do I have any further discussion? We've had a long, lengthy discussion on this, and it's good discussion, and I appreciate everybody's concerns, and everybody's concerns are genuine. With that being said, roll call, please.
Davenport,
No.
Goodwin,
No, can't.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
All right, let's move on to the meat of this. Need a motion to approve the bill list.
That may be the smallest bill list we've ever had.
It wasn't very
Motion
big.
approved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Only
Wilcutt.
80,000.
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes. Thank you.
Bolden,
Tax.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Next up is our treasurer's report. Unfortunately, our treasurer is under the weather. I hope she's doing well, and but we have Miss Hannah.
Much better with power.
Yeah, doggone.
I have a
Was it 8
report
o'clock
for
last
that
night?
later also. Hannah, welcome and thank you. Will you please proceed?
So we have a couple things. I did run down and put the financial statement on there, so you all should be able to see that. So that's the first thing we need to get acknowledged today. I know she usually goes through here, but I'm just gonna do the grand total.
You might have to refresh
For all
it.
funds, it's 19,418,780.09.
And you said it's on here?
It should be.
4.3.
You gotta reload it.
You might have to refresh it.
Oh, Silver, I had to skip one.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Roll call.
Lots of
Davenport,
questions.
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Next thing we need to get approved is a list of budget transfers.
Is it just that one? Oh, no, I see it.
There's two pages.
Make a motion to approve budget transfers as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
And the last thing, we have one cash transfer today. We need to transfer $65,000 from occupational net profits tax fund to the jail fund.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. If no further discussion, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Thank y'all.
Thank you,
Thank
Hannah.
you, Matt.
Thank you.
Hannah.
All right, next up is road work request. Before we go into that, I just want to
Yes.
express to our road department how thankful I am for what they've done. The amount of debris and trees and that they have taken care of has been phenomenal. They're out again today. Pee Wee's not with us today because I told him not to come because he was busy still working on clearing trees. We have the brush cutter was on the Momax. They've now put the grinding head. They're headed out to start grinding and trying to remove as much. I'm asking everybody to just be patient. We're trying to get this stuff picked up, cleaned up, but it's going to take a while. District 1.
District 1, after looking at all the roads, Dennis Road, there was 2 or 3 trees across the road, but the citizens, and I think emergency services was out there too, got them into the right of way. Just need to put that on the list for removal out of the right of way. As well as Dakota Lane, there was 1 tree. Also, Newtown Road, 2104, that's been an ongoing problem for years. I talked to Pee Wee some, but need to find a permanent solution to try to keep rocks coming off the hill and going into the neighbor's yard and clogging up their driveway tile. It's like they have to go out there often to clear their driveway tile. I'm just trying to, Pee Wee's trying to brainstorm on some ideas. Also, now all the parts are in for Palmetto, 079 Loop area. We put that on the list of things as soon as things dry up enough to get that fixed. Other than that, continue maintenance, appreciate all their hard work. I've seen them out all weekend, so trucks driving by and they're working hard.
Thank you. District 2.
Major storm cleanup. We've got a lot of gravel in the roads. I think I've learned a lesson about asking for gravel on the sides of the roads until maybe June or July until the flood stops. We've wasted a lot of gravel. It's run off. But I'll get with Pee Wee and with 106 Oakdale needs a tile fixed, but I know that they've got a lot of other pressing stuff, and I just appreciate everything they've done. They've worked hard. Thank you.
District 3.
I do appreciate all the hard work that they and the first responders have done. Do have a couple of places on Buena Vista Road that are in need. This is not necessarily storm related. Kind of a tile near 433 Buena Vista Road that either stopped up, but it's compromised the road edge and washboard the sides. And then some ditch work. I don't really have an address, but it's through the wooded area of Buena Vista where ponding is occurring. I think a lot of that's just due to the lack of roadside ditching.
Okay.
But I'll send him pictures about that. But I really just appreciate all the hard work.
District 4.
District 4, I know they've got plenty to do, and I've got a couple things at 1458 Thompson School Road. Driveway tiles washed out. We've fixed that a couple times. I just have to meet Pee Wee out there to show him my idea on a permanent solution. And then I do have a request for a speed limit sign on Sharp Garden Road. There's not one at the beginning of the road, and I'll get with Pee Wee on placement on that as well. Other than that, thanks for all their efforts and continue maintenance.
District 5.
Yes. Well, I just got out of my driveway last night, so I wasn't able to drive around and look, but I had lots of people calling, and they said that the neighbors are helping neighbors, and that is huge. So I'm grateful, plus Auburn Fire Department was helping in a major way. I do have 3 things on Liberty Church Road before and after the bridge that will eventually be replaced. The road is crumbling off on the sides and becoming a danger for anybody who has to scoot over for two-way traffic. So we went out there, and the young man who called that in took orange permanent paint with a big arrow to both areas of that road on Liberty Church Road that are becoming dangerous with crumbled off asphalt. Also, on Dogwood Way, we have a speeder who continues to speed through there, and Pee Wee did replace the speed limit signs on Cemetery Road, but Dogwood Way still has a young man who says, well, there's no speed limit here. So if we can get a speed limit sign on Dogwood Way, that would help.
I didn't realize that was a KRS code. It was a speed limit. You can just drive wherever you want to.
55.
55 is not
Posted, it's 55.
And he has obviously figured this out and told the residents on Dogwood Way, well, I don't have to, you don't have a sign. So when I asked that there be one, I think that was looked at as a small road, but I think maybe we need one. And the last thing would be that I'm very grateful for all the things that the road department has done. They work very hard, and I'm grateful. And so is my district.
District 6.
Continue maintenance, thanks for everything that's been done, and Judge, can't thank you enough for taking care of Morton Lane. That huge success and getting everybody, I know it took 100 phone calls to get AT&T there to fix that. Really, everybody's very thankful for that. I just wanted to tell you myself, thank
How many
you.
lines are on those poles?
On that one, I counted,
Like 13?
it's in the teens.
Snap.
That is a very, that's an information highway. I'm just gonna say that right now.
That's funny.
I hate to, I'm
It
very
had more-
reluctant
the
to
line
say
was like
that,
this
but
high off the
I
road.
know, I know.
You know, people couldn't go in
I heard
and out.
people
People
calling
were
about it.
crossing it. I'm like, on foot. I'm like,
yeah,
you're talking about people making stupid choices, man, that's like
A Far Side joke, only in real life.
Don't do that.
That's so scary.
They were.
Well, we're lucky, no results on that.
all right.
I forgot a couple, sorry.
No, you can't go back.
Yeah, we voted on you. 130 Amy Court, fixed driveway tile, speak with homeowner. I can help with speaking with the homeowner if they need. And then repost miles, 35 mile per hour on Dennis Road. Now we've got it freshly paved. Some of the hazards are gone. Want to put 35 miles an hour on Dennis Road.
All right.
Also, I want to add that the Darrell Fire Department they did a whole lot of work too.
They did.
I
A
forgot to give them
Darrell Fire Department came up. All fire departments,
I saw Auburn
Olmsted,
is there,
Darrell,
right?
Auburn, Lewisburg, Russellville, Russellville City, all did a wonderful job. I mean, out there, Darrell actually sent a crew up here to help us cut our way up to the towers. We're very appreciative of them.
And we appreciate the judge being out. I know he was out all weekend too, so, I mean, I know you
Just part of it.
part of it, but.
But
you didn't-
anyway-
You didn't have to.
The fire departments and the search and rescue did a wonderful job of doing their whole thing. The radios, they burn up. Ginger EOC, they done a wonderful job. Everybody did. With that being said, I need a motion and a second to,
So moved.
Second.
thank you, to approve road work request.
We know what you meant.
I have a motion and a second with no further discussion. Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. All right, moving on. Elected officials. Sheriff, do you have anything for us today, sir? All right. Stacy, do you have anything for us, ma'am?
Not really. I didn't know if y'all had any questions about the election. They didn't make it through it, and I wanted to thank everybody too. We came up, and I mean, the whole town was buzzing with people working, so I want to thank everybody that did that.
I asked Pam if the lighter voter turnout made it easier, and he's like, no.
It just is what
Same
it
difference.
is, yeah.
It's a shame we got less 10%.
It was about what they projected.
Can't make
We
them.
got, we were over 10%.
Oh, were you over 10?
Yeah, we made it over 10%.
I know I went out to the CTC and they were very accommodating to me. I kind of liked it better at the CTC than I did the high school,
I think
honestly.
we really like that location.
I really did.
It's really good to get in and out of.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have to go as far back to get to it.
So much easier parking and access, so.
Yeah, it was nice. We really liked that one.
They did a really good job taking care of me and others. I don't know about the other precincts, but.
They did, they all did great. We had a, yeah. it was very-
I doubt you'll
everybody
get
was
any
very
argument
cooperative.
if they want to make that a permanent spot.
What's that?
I doubt they'll get much argument from the school system if they want
We
that a
would
permanent
prefer
spot.
it. We would much rather, and I think we spoke to the superintendent about that.
What about it, Ben? You want to make that happen?
Oh, I think it's, yeah.
All right.
Love it.
All right, I think we found a good job on that one, man.
Yeah.
Good
All right.
decision, Ben. Great job.
Anything else?
That's about it.
All right.
Didn't know if y'all had any questions for me.
No, thank you.
Man,
Thank you, guys.
thank you, Stacy. Next up, jailer, Josh. Josh, tell me, you have anything for, oh, yeah, I know you do.
I just want to say thank you to Ginger and her staff. It was a rough day, to say the least. And taking it by phone, by personal phones and things, that's, and I'd like to thank my staff too. They worked hard with very little, I guess, power to certain things. And that was something I was wanting to bring up today. For whatever reason, when the generator was put in, when the building was built, it's only operating at about 5 to 8% of what it could, if not less. It's only operating a few lights within the facility in the cell, the control room, and our cameras. We had to manually unlock doors with old keys, with actual keys. There was no releasing. You couldn't let people in the building. You had to send people out. We had no computers, no nothing to book people in, to send anything. The cell check devices that we use, everything was handwritten. If our freezer was working, that was something else I was going to bring up. That went out for a week. And then we lost power to our walk-in fridge, so we lost a lot of food, needless to say. I would like to thank Justin Owen Trucking, for letting us borrow a freezer semi-trailer to house what we could save. However, it's been an interesting week leading up to the storm, but back to the generator. But other than those things, that's capable of so much more. I had to call out our service tech, Ralph Galloway, that's always works on it and services it, does our inspections every year. We had some lights come on, some indicator lights of some issues, so he come out to check it, and he said it's capable of so much more. They're going to do an assessment. I'm hoping I can get that set up in the next couple weeks to come out and look at it, and then actually have an electrician come, because everything's got to be wired in on what we want to run, but it got awfully hot in there.
It's inside, the generator is, right?
Yes, yes.
It really needs to be outside. I don't know why they put that
Well,
outside.
I'm saying the generator itself run fine, what it run, I'm saying inside the building.
The AC
inside
unit.
the
Oh, I like you
cells.
saying the room where
Yeah.
that generator
Well,
was.
we kept the door open, while we could. He serviced it, it was fine. The lights was just, was a malfunction on the
Can't leave
display.
doors open at a jail, can you?
Yeah.
I was playing.
To that side, nobody's in there, but-
So you're saying like the unit itself
Is-
is put out more amperage, but
Oh,
it's
yeah,
not wired into all
No, it's only
circuits?
doing,
got
I mean,
you.
it's single digit percentage of what it could do on what it could run, cause I
Gotcha.
mean, it's as big as, dispatches, if not, bigger, but I mean, it's a large Caterpillar unit, and, it's capable of so much more, but that's what we're trying to work on. But just being able to feed those guys, cause I mean, we had to resort to going and buying, I went and bought a ton of bread in Warren County. I went to Sam's and doing sack lunches because we couldn't cook. We had no power. We could to our kitchen. No, of course, no lights throughout that side, just in the cells itself and our control room. But trying to do something different and better in the future, if possible. Because of course, I mean, when you're hungry and you're hot or you're cold, you're going to be irritated. They already don't want to be in there. So it causes conflict in the cells and in conflict with staff. We're trying to just minimize that the best we can. And, however, I guess the judge did reach out and I did touch base. I did get a new replacement unit. It was going to be almost as much for just the compressor that went out on the freezer as it would be for a brand new unit because it's the original unit's 25 years old. That was ordered Friday, and I was under the impression it shipped. I put a call into HMC to double check with that and trying to get an update, but I'm expecting it today or tomorrow, I'm hoping. And then as soon as it comes in, they'll start on the project to get that fixed. And then on a heavier note, our pre-release class for the first one went very well. We had a lot of others that showed up and wanted to speak and introduce themselves, and it was the audience that are getting ready to be released. All the inmates were very impressed and could not. They couldn't fathom how many resources are out there and what's there at their disposal. All they got to do is ask. So, I just wanted to give that, and I will make sure that I give you all a formal invitation next time in advance, to where if you're able to make it, I would love for you to at least come to one to see how that presentation goes. But thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Tink.
Ben, do you have any for us? See, if I don't ask, you have stuff, and that's what happens. No, we're good. Okay, moving on. Department heads. Let's just start with Ginger. I know you had a very busy weekend, so come on up and.
Hello, how are y'all?
Good.
My phone keeps going off because everything's messed up. I did type out a memo so y'all could kind of see what we were dealing with this weekend.
Excuse me. Thank you.
You got, yeah, one. And I also included the CAD so you can see how
This ain't no
busy.
memo, it's a book.
Wow.
That's the way it felt for us. As you can see, we were very, very busy. And we had a lot of equipment malfunctions.
Great.
My first question is, are we still on the every 6 month rotation of maintenance?
It had a sticker on it that it had been maintenance, but there's no way. Russell come down and checked it. Russell, we didn't call him, he was just concerned. And he come down and it wasn't running, he checked it, it had no water in it. He put water in it, but as you can see, it had a hose and an elbow that was bad, so it was causing it to go into fail-safe.
What did the sticker say on the date they serviced it?
They had serviced it within the last, they had already done it for 2024 is what it said.
Who does that?
Evercar. And they did send a tech down, but, you know, Russell's right here, which makes it so much more convenient. We were on generator till 9 o'clock that night. And Pee Wee's not here, but I would like to thank Pee Wee because he come out. It had plenty of fuel in it to start with because I did check the fuel myself on a regular basis to make sure I had a stick because it doesn't have a gauge on it. I put the stick in.
Old-fashioned check.
Old-fashioned. But I do know that it had plenty of fuel in it. We had him come by in the afternoon and fill it up because it was getting low. We were still running on generator. We called him to come back. We said, can you come back before you go to bed that way? And then, of course, right before he come back, the power come on, but he still topped it off for me. You know, we were trying to keep, they couldn't even get to the tower site on Reservoir Hill. The judge was out there. They were all out there cutting trees trying to get up there because you couldn't even get up there, you know, to check all the generators and all that. We still have an issue with the Lewisburg and Auburn sites are not working this morning. I just talked to Scott. He is talking to John Cornelius. Evidently, it's an issue on the EPB's end, and they're working on that to get that fixed.
EPB and
Our internet, we don't, our
at
sites.
the Russellville tower?
At the Russellville site. They're not talking to the Auburn and Lewisburg sites.
The Lewisburg. So it's not something with our site here in Russellville, okay.
Our Russellville sites are not talking to our Lewisburg and Auburn sites right now.
And that is why?
Internet. They said there's something with the internet. The internet was down. Of course, the internet was down all over the county. But our internet, we got it back up about 9 o'clock. With everything we have being internet-based, we were, as I said, dispatching old school. We were pen and papering it. All the calls were going to KSP. They were calling us on our cell phones. Some of them were calling units on their cell phones because, you know, there were so many calls coming in. They were just making sure they were getting dispatched.
Your non-emergency line is EPB, and then your...
No, our non-emergency lines, during a storm like that, it's AT&T. The only ones that will reroute are the 911 calls. So we had put on Facebook, you know, people were messaging us on Facebook, we were messaging them back because we couldn't get the admin lines. All we could get was the 911 lines rerouted.
So when someone called 911, they could still get to you because it was a different path?
They would go to state police. All their calls went to state police, and then state police called us on our cell phone. In fact, I went home to try to take a little bit of a break in between, and I was standing in my kitchen getting 911 calls.
So EPB and AT&T lines were on it?
Everything was down. So I want to try to figure out some type of backup. And me and the judge have been talking about that. He knew exactly when everything went down. He knew as quick as I did because I called him and he'd come to dispatch. And it was a madhouse in there. We didn't even have any lights for a little while. It wouldn't have been for search and rescue bringing us a light. So
What is the redundancy for the internet?
right now, it's all internet based. There's not any redundancy right now. We've got to do something.
What would be
I don't know.
What our redundancy would be,
See,
would be basically, the only redundancy that, there's two possibilities that we could use. One, using AT&T as a backup for the
It's all still
internet.
the internet.
The redundancy, I spoke with Devin with Electric Plant Board. Actually, yesterday, I caught them coming out of convenience stores. And I told him that we have got to work on getting a redundant fiber to EOC, meaning a backup plan. The other thing is I immediately got a hold of Scott, and we're going to start working on we're going to look at what we can do to potentially get a redundancy up to the tower also, so if that line goes down, we have a backup, meaning basically
Point-to-point wireless?
point-to-point wireless is one of the main things I'm looking at. And it may be a point-to-point wireless in other locations. We're just basically trying to create a ring is what I want to do. So if one side goes down, it transfers to the other side.
You think there's any potential tapping into Logan telephone? I know they come all the way in and through Russellville.
The closest Logan telephone gets is by the bypass. You know, I'd be willing to open those conversations with Greg Hale and see if there is. With AT&T actually being already in Russellville, our resident may be to actually speak with them.
I think,
What about that fiber that comes into this building from the state? That huge orange, I mean, it's right there.
Yeah,
I mean, it's right there, at the end of this driveway. Is that
I would have
orange
to, I'd
fiber?
have
It
to.
also comes in on
you're
that
talking
side.
about,
You're talking about the
Kentucky wired.
Yeah, the Kentucky wired. That would be something I'd have to talk to them about. I don't even have a contact with them right now, but that's no problem. I'll find it.
I think
It's there.
we have internet service at all of our towers. So like, we pay for internet service at Logan Telephone at Auburn.
Yes.
We pay for internet service at Lewisburg. So, I mean, I think if we can come up with some sort of wireless point-to-point
Right.
between,
Well, that
we
was.
can utilize the internet that we're paying for in one of those areas.
So right now, we have no service in this further on.
The problem would be the distance on the point to point right now, so we would have to.
That's how the tower used to communicate on the, totally, was the point-to-point wireless.
Was it?
Yep.
Okay, my apologies.
Before we got the internet, that's been a few years ago, before we got the internet
Well,
hooked up.
You know, the basic is we know, we found, we can plan and plan and plan, and then something happens, and
Yeah.
it's always something we don't plan for. But Ginger and I have had a lot of communication on a lot of things we've got to talk about, that we've got to discuss personally. And there's a lot of stuff that we knew was coming, one of them being the radio system. We know we've got to upgrade. We have no choice. Her consoles and such, we're working on that right now, getting those, because they're basically out of date, so we're working on getting those updated. We've got a lot of things that we've got to work on.
And I am we've been looking into FEMA grants, and if I can find anything out there, I want the court's permission to apply for anything that we can find.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, if we can get, I'm looking into, my generator's 25 years old.
Yep.
And, I mean, the thing is, it's been a good one, but
It's 25 years old.
it's 25 years old. So we need to start thinking about stuff like that. And one thing I do want to make the court aware of is that I received calls from the media that we were completely down. ECC was never completely down. We were dispatching old school. We didn't have the luxuries, including lights, but we were still taking calls and dispatching calls and taking care of everybody.
And you could have the latest of the greatest, and you could still have that same problem.
Exactly, but I would like to go ahead and, you know, this was we've really got to start getting ready to move to the future. We've got to.
Exactly.
We can't, you know, because we were lucky, I mean, it was 9:30 before we got our phones up, and we were really lucky because about midnight, KSP lost their phones. So, I mean, you know, they were handling our calls, so we were lucky that they weren't still handling our calls when they went down. But I had texts in from everywhere. I've got a tech down there now, Isaac and one of his guys fixing one of the consoles that when the power come back up, it said, I'm not coming back up. So he's down there working on that now. But that's the issue with a lot of everything being internet-based. I mean, it's really affecting the connection with the radios and things like that, but we've got to start looking into what we can do to make it. Because, I mean, you know, I've got units in places that they don't feel safe, and I don't, you know, it's my job to make them safe.
Agreed.
Anybody have any more questions about this?
No,
Vicki?
great job.
Other than,
Thank you.
we're exhausted. I do have some really, really good news, if y'all like that. Okay.
Should have led with good news first.
Well, you know what, I was gonna sandwich everything, but, you know, okay, I have a personnel action request for Isadora Perez to start on 6/3 as a full-time employee, no experience. That fills my last full-time position. And Tyler's gonna check me, that's what I use Tyler for.
I'll check you, but I really don't think you need us to approve this
Okay.
0 years, only if they have experience.
Okay, well, then
That's-
this one
that's
is
correct,
also,
right?
I'm just so excited, okay?
I'm excited for you.
Okay, I'm just so excited.
Hey, we'll vote on it just for the excitement, I don't care.
And I also have filling a part-time position on 6/10. One of my part-time is leaving on the 7th. She's taking her position on the 10th. So that'd be all my full-time and all my part-time positions full.
Oh, that is so needed. Good for you, Ginger.
That's what I wanted to just let y'all know, hey, they're off well now, that's a big thing. Because I mean, I can say Thomas has been on the court for a long time, and I've never been able to say that.
I don't think so.
No.
Sounds like a first to me.
Thank
Thomas, you
goodness.
got all your spots full at work?
They're all busy.
We're always hiring. We
That's
can
all
always
right.
use a few good men, you know what I'm
Good.
saying?
I got you.
No, but would like to thank some of the people that really helped us. Pee Wee was amazing. You know, he worked himself to death. And Travis Kodiak, I think, found out what it was like to be a dispatcher, because he just sat in
He
there
did.
when we were busy, and he took a portable and was handling all the trees down and hollering at search and rescue, and he stayed in there with us the whole time. So he found out, he's like, whew, I don't know how y'all do this. But, you know, we stayed very, very busy. And it was bad because, you know, we were all hungry, there was no place to eat, and we were all angry.
We had a local pizza place take care of you
Yes,
guys.
Domino's got pizzas, you know, the manager here is very, very supportive of emergency services. Sent them to Litchfield to get them cooked and sent them back to us. There was we got 20 pizzas up there, which is that was amazing.
It's pretty awesome.
You know, a lot of times.
It really was.
From Litchfield.
Yes, from Litchfield.
Huh.
But they did what they had to do because she wanted to get us all fed.
That's awesome.
Because, the only place open was USA Fuel. And they were really frying some chicken that day. Because I can tell you, every time they were lined up out the door.
Oh, yeah.
Josh should have made you some sandwiches.
Well, Josh was going, we said, when you figure out what you're going to get, let us know.
I brought a sack of cheeseburgers back from Logan.
Yes, you did.
And I left Sam's with over 200 loaves of bread.
We'll bring you some peanut butter for the next
I
time.
tell you, it was, this was a different storm than we have had in a while. It come quick and
Violent.
violent. But thankfully, no injuries
Oh,
or anything
man.
like that. We've had a lot of property damage, but properties can be replaced.
All right.
Try to ask Amanda a question, but
She's not there.
she ain't there.
No, I don't think I technically have to ask, but I just wanted you to know. I had to have some good news today.
It is good
Was
news.
Both of them are 0 years service.
Both of them are 0 years.
Yeah, they're just such.
We would like to welcome
Thank you.
Isadora Perez and Harley Epley as new full-time employees at the ECC, and I imagine they'll be going to training in the next
One's a
few
part-time.
months.
One's a part-time.
I'm sorry?
One's a
part-time,
part-time. I
one
would love to
part-time,
put
one
a
full-time.
But I didn't have an extra position. so
Wow, can you imagine that need?
I can't, I've never had to say, wow, I can't put somebody in a full-time position. But we'll get through it.
I heard it's because the directors is fabulous. That's what I heard.
Well, we've made a lot of improvements in the last couple of years on pay, and it's really, now we'll get the equipment where we need to be, and we'll be right up there where we need to be.
We're getting there.
We're getting there, and we're gonna, but I just really want y'all to, in the CAD, it's just nothing more than to show y'all how busy we all were, which a lot of it was have to put in afterwards because we were pen and paper in it. But as you can see, we had trees, and everybody wanted to call us to find out when their power's gonna be back on.
Oh,
We had no
no.
answers because we had no power.
I think another option to look at too for backup internet is, like you can get some routers or whatnot that will you can hook up a cell phone with USB with hotspot, or they got cards you can put in them to have that as a redundant internet backup. So that could be something else.
There's a lot of different options.
There's a lot.
But I do want
Well,
us to really start
Doesn't
looking at it.
AT&T offer the big trailers, like through the first net that I'm signed up with, first responders can sign up with?
Yeah, but the only problem is we need something
Permanent.
then permanently there,
I
so.
didn't know if you make a call and they could have that available as part of the service, that they can bring it to you.
Well, wasn't the fiber down on the way up to the tower, didn't it get torn down?
Yes, yeah.
They worked on it, it was just, and that's just, you see how it affected everybody. Every store was closed. You think about that. So we've got to be ready for this. We've got to figure out what we can do. And I'm open for any suggestions. And we are gonna have to look into upgrading, but we've got to make sure what we've got now is gonna keep everybody safe.
Absolutely.
Ginger, just while you're in the writing mode, I don't know if this is you, whether it's a consultant, but do we not need a detailed cost estimate and a description of what we're talking about? I mean, I feel like we need that in our hands, that whether we talk to the folks at Brad, hey, if we talk to the legislature, if we talk to all
We've
these
got to have,
avenues.
this was
We gotta
basically
gotta
just to
give
let
them-
y'all know what we had
Oh,
going
no,
on.
but I'm just
'Cause
saying,
I was
like,
afraid I wouldn't remember everything, because it was a lot.
I feel like we need something in our hand that when
To
we.
say how much money we're
Yeah.
asking.
It needs to have sufficient detail, which it may need an evaluation.
Well, I do know we did hire that company.
Well,
Well, we're still working
we're
on
still
that
working on that.
because of the
There was
cost
some
issue.
price
The
confusion.
price
There
issues
was,
on
it was a confusion of what services and the way that the contract, or the estimate was wrote was the biggest
Sort of
problem
misleading.
with that. But we're,
We're
Derek
just saying, we're
and
just
I-
sort of talking about this in generalities, and I think we need
right,
We just
to
need
get down
to
to sort
start.
of having it well defined so that we have something in our hand and we
I mean,
like,
now we do
we need
have
help,
some,
you know,
some
and-
quotes on different things, but they do need to come down and really, because we've got to figure out what's gonna take us into the future and what's gonna be upgradable and things like that. I wanna make sure what we're getting and what we do is not something that in 5 years we're standing here doing the exact same thing. I wanna make sure that everything will, because I mean, it's just like buying a car, you know, as soon as you bring it off the lot, there you go. You know, we need to make sure that whatever we get is going to advance with the times. Because I mean, how fast are they advancing? Faster than I can.
Well, I mean, definitely, I know we now have a 911 committee that we created.
correct.
It's me and you and Thomas.
Thomas, okay, anytime.
So I mean, I
we
think that's some, we
Get
need to,
together.
we need to get together and talk
Okay.
about
I
our
agree.
options and,
Okay.
you know, and like Thomas has brought up recently, we've, you know, we've got to, we gotta find the funds to.
We gotta
to
find
make-
the
We gotta
funds.
find the funds.
Mhm.
And that could require some tough decisions, but it's just the reality we're living in.
but even chasing the free money, you know, we've got to,
Absolutely.
We've got to know what
this is
we're
our
asking.
Yeah.
issue, this is what we're looking at. So we just really need to sort of get that down a page or two.
Want to try to set up a time for us to get together?
It doesn't, you just tell us when you're available sometime.
Well, of course,
Sometime
right
next
now, we're
week.
still dealing with all this down there
You know,
now.
just give it a week or
Okay.
so, and then
Y'all me just email y'all?
just email or text us, and then
Okay.
we'll figure
We'll
out
get it all
something.
set up, because that
Yeah,
work will
text
start.
work quicker for me.
Yeah.
Okay,
I check my emails a couple times a day.
I'm bad about that too. See if I have anything else for me.
Thank you.
Thank you,
y'all.
Junior.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Nathan with solid waste. Do you have anything for us?
I don't have anything unless there's questions.
Just check to make sure the earth wasn't ending.
That's right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you, Nathan.
Oh, I do have one. The house that we've had some legal issues with the cleanup and everything, seems like the dumpster's still there, yards grow. I don't know if that's, are they not living there anymore, or are you not for sure?
They're not there anymore
Okay.
in that particular case.
Okay.
I'm working with Joe on that.
Okay.
They
What's
have,
the
they have a date
address?
set, they've got to have it
Or
cleaned up.
road, what road is
It's
that?
on Morgantown Road.
Okay, you got one on Dakota that somebody's contacted me about, that the yard's about this high, and they mow like a strip around their house and up and down the driveway, but the rest of it, I don't know if you're familiar with that. Somebody approached me at church about it, and I just forgot.
I think that's, you know, Joe has brought up, you know, that
Dakota
we,
Lane's all I know.
Joe's brought up that we need to update our ordinance on some of that. And we just don't have an ordinance in place that can.
I'll try to find what you're talking about. We'll take a look.
Yeah, he said you should drive down Dakota Lane.
I think there's a state law that we can sometimes tackle it with, but it's
That's
very,
usually what I bring to them.
but it's
it
a lot harder to, so, you
Any
know,
ordinance we need for these
Well,
locations?
in order to do that type of stuff, you're supposed to have a code enforcement board, and that's a big step, and there
Code
hasn't
enforcement.
necessarily been an appetite for that in the past. It's basically,
yeah,
it's not handled criminally anymore, so they want you to create a administrative process, and that board would be the hearing officer to hear those. So it's a less than criminal step, so it actually would be a better protection for the community because somebody would be civilly responsible more than criminally necessary. This lady, the first lady you were talking about, she is in court, and I want to say that she might have missed her court date. So beyond that, we're looking for her.
Yeah.
Nothing more than that. But that would be a process, and it kind of goes similarly with the land use planning and zoning, and it's just a matter of we try, Nathan and I try to deal with it the best we can with what we
I
got.
wish
But
there was a less
burdensome.
a less serious, of a way to handle it. I would only think we would want to do something that if your property is so many feet from somebody, say you're real close to somebody, and it's affecting them, you think about the rodents and mosquitoes and what it's doing to your close by neighbor. I ain't talking about somebody living on a beaten path that nobody around them, who cares? But if you live in a subdivision or somewhere where you've got people all around you, kids out playing, I just wish we had a way to help tackle that issue, but maybe what you're saying is the only way to do that.
Well, the statutes that govern that sort of stuff, whenever they were repealed, and now when you go to what replaced them, it's the code enforcement statutes.
And I work with it the best I can.
Oh, I know you do.
We tackle it the best I can.
Oh, I know, but you can only do so much with that.
Joe, do you need to borrow my laptop?
No.
You sure? Yeah, you only have 3. Thought maybe one more.
He's got the Dell out because the Apple stuff probably don't work.
Oh, do it.
I mean, I'll take a 4th. I can maybe put some
Thank you,
TV
Nathan.
on.
Nathan, I gotta get with you, I gotta follow up with you about Logan Mill Road.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that to you. Somebody did mention that to me about.
All right, moving on with judges' announcements this morning. I compiled a list.
I think it's now one of those
of,
continual situations.
outages, power outages in Logan County. Warren Rule, according to their resources, there's only 200 in Logan County. Penny Ryle has around a little less than 2,000, and Russell Electric Plant Board has 800. I know all these crews have got outside coming in, and Dale Val with Electric Plant Board had actually told me that this is the first time that an Electric Plant Board in a long time that they've used mutual aid to help restore power in Russellville. So just know that there's crews out there. They're trying. You just please be patient. I know being without power is a horrible thing, but they are working diligently to get
I've had a couple people reach out to me asking me to do something about the power issue, but I try to let them know that
I've had the same thing, and I would love to say, snap my fingers and they just go to that area. But to be honest with you, I'm not going to do that. They know what needs to be done, and they know where the concentration is, and they're trying. I know it's a bad thing. No, everybody wants their power back. I understand.
we're not the governing body of the power.
But we have nothing to do with that.
But I don't know if I think some people just want to express their concern, or they're afraid they're not on a list.
Right.
Wasn't there a number that they could text?
Yes. All 3 have numbers, but I don't have.
Maybe we can share that on Facebook
I'll
later or something.
I'll get Olivia to put
I don't
that
mind
on Facebook.
talking to people. I just have to tell them, they know the problem's there and they're going to get to it as fast as they can. But
Yeah, they know where the power.
I can't make them go fix the power at your house.
Right.
We did have place shelters in effect for people to go who didn't have power. Like, you have people who are on oxygen, people who have medication. We did have places set up, especially all day, I think, all day and all night, Sunday night.
It is frustrating if you don't have power for days. I understand.
And I understand it.
We don't have it either,
Yeah. All right, moving on. Just a quick few announcements that I have. May 28th, which is today, Spay and Aid in Kentucky has a food distribution at 2209 Hopkinsville Road beginning at 4:30 p.m. May 31st and June 1st is the 33rd annual Logan County Antique Engine and Tractor Pull. This will be at the Logan County Extension Ag Arena at 255 John Paul Road in Russellville. 2 days events include antique tractors, engines, and more on display. Tractor games, a parade, kids activities, food trucks, vendors. This will all be followed up by the muscle pulls on Friday and the antique pulls on Saturday. Also, June 1st, we're going to be doing another cows testing. It's countywide cow testing. It will occur at noon, but if there is inclement weather, I think I said that right, it will be rescheduled. Also, June 1st, the Logan County Genealogical Society Saturday hours, they will be there from 8 to noon. Their number is 270-726-8179. June the 4th, exciting date for all of us. The Wall That Heals, the Welcome Home Parade. The community is invited to line the streets to welcome home the Vietnam veterans as the Wall That Heals is escorted into Russellville. The escort will take Highway 6880 west from Bowling Green, detouring through Auburn, returning back to 6880 and traveling to Russellville. Upon reaching the town, it will take 4th Street around Carico Square, rounding the park, exiting the 4th Street, where it will continue on Hopkinsville Road and making a right on 6880 where it will return. We'll go to around the bypass to Parkside Way. There's many businesses that have chose to be viewing spots. We encourage anyone that wants to participate to be at those viewing spots. With that being said, I think that's all the announcements I have. I have no more reports. Now is the time for citizen participation. If anyone has anything they would like to say or would like to address the court about, now is the time for that. All right. If not, old business, we have nothing. So finally, we get to move on towards new business. Item number 1, discuss the KLF and KCO workers' comp insurance premium renewals.
What's the insurance committee's recommendation?
I don't think we got another quote, did we?
Travelers chose to not quote. They could not quote us the affected amount that we need.
So go down to the workman's comp on that. So a couple of things I want to point out. So your experience modification rate. So when you're calculating your workman's comp, it's a rate per class code. So if somebody behind the desk has a different class code and somebody's working heavy machinery, all those rates are calculated, and then you get a premium that you pay. And then your last calculation is your experience modification. Okay, so that's that rate that you see that went from 0.7 to 1.5. So if you have $100 of premium to pay, you multiply that by 0.7, which means you got a discount. Okay, so instead of paying $100, you paid $77, right? Okay, it just went from 0.77 or whatever it says there, 0.77 to 1.5. So now it's instead of paying $100, you're paying $150. Okay, that is a crazy experience modification change. That should be very alarming to this court. We need to understand what drove that and what we're going to do to correct that. Now, I don't know how KCO does experience modifications, but out in the rest of the world, that rate is there for 3 years. Okay, it's not recalculated every year. It's recalculated on a 3-year experience. So they look at that. Okay, this is what you're paying the next 3 years. Then next, 3 years comes around. They look at it. Okay, this is what your experience modification will be for the next 3 years. So that is a crazy jump, guys. So again, $100 premium. You went from having a $23 discount to having a 50% increase. Is what you got.
Is that?
With that being said, I spoke with the KCO representative, and he is getting back with me with some preventive training that we will be implementing throughout the county for all. And it's just a series of unfortunate events has led to this increase over the past year and a half, 2 years.
To like
I'd
incidents
like to
and
know what
accidents.
those are. You know, again, those are
I've got.
HIPAA laws. I don't want to know who they were.
Right.
Don't care about it, but I want to know what they are. Are they
I'm-
back injuries? Are they people falling, tripping, you know, on the front sidewalk? We need to know and understand what those are so we can correct that.
I've got the 4 main ones I've got the whole list, but the 4 main ones I'll gladly share with you.
And
There's no
that
names.
preventative maintenance or preventative education, whatever you want to call it, we've had this once before that I've been on court.
Right.
That has to be mandatory for all employees.
Agree.
I mean,
Agreed.
that is the only way to get this corrected, whatever it is. First of all, I don't understand what it is. So I think the last time we had that, it was in one particular department. And, you know, we just had to have some really good education, but we made it mandatory for all county employees. The other thing that I was going to ask Tyler is, we have $808,000 in new payroll. Well, that's what
That
this
doesn't sound
report
right.
says.
It doesn't sound
This
right.
report says we have $808,000
I don't think
in
that's
new
right.
payroll.
I don't think that's right.
Well, that's what this says.
I think that was based on the,
In 1 year, that can't be right. I mean, that may be over,
Well, that's what your
Even
premium
adding
is
the,
based on.
we added all the humane. We
now the
added
admin
so
humane
many
side
posi-
employees could.
We
could
added-
New
do that.
payroll, period. New
Yeah.
payroll, whether it's increases.
Employee count
new
was up
employees.
9%.
So,
I-
again,
I would say
if
that,
you got $808,000 in new payroll, where did we come up with the money for $808,000 in new payroll?
you take 6 employees along, like Jason said, at the animal shelter. That's gonna drive it up.
I understand, but you know, we add these things and we don't talk about where we get the
100,000.
money to fund
They're
them.
gonna increase it a lot. It ain't gonna increase it that much.
Well, if this report says we have $808,000 in increased payroll, that is coming in 2 forms, payroll increases and new employees. If it's something different, then we need to know, but that is what that is based on.
Well, when you know what we gave them on increases, you know, it was 3.4%.
I just don't know what our total payroll is, so I could back that number
let
out.
me, I can get you the answers.
If I knew how much total payroll was for all county employees, then I could tell you.
I mean, it's just part of our budget. I mean, I don't know, I have to go in there and just even line, you know, that's the only way I know, looking at the budget line. But then you have to say, you know, it's salaries and wages, and then you got other, you know, then you gotta add fringe benefits, and all that's included, so. Or
No, all
whatever.
I need to know is payroll. Payroll on workman's comp is just payroll. I just need to know what the payroll is. Payroll part, I don't care about fringe benefits. To back that out of this 808,000.
Yeah,
Does
I
that
mean,
make sense?
I think that's, just look at the budget, I mean,
Well, because it's done in
I'll
every
get you
different
the part, yeah.
department.
I can't get you the report for that right now.
I can do it, I can't do it in 5 minutes.
yeah.
No, that's what I was,
I think Amanda,
can
I think Amanda
have it on that report.
can get us that pretty easy.
Well,
Well, really,
anyhow,
HR.
I mean, we gotta work on that. I mean,
So what you're saying, just, we're seeing a increase in workers' comp because, one, we brought our salaries, adjusted our salaries,
Correct.
you know, which we voted to do to make them more competitive. But I guess we're also, just like what Ginger just reported about getting her positions filled, you know, we now have budgeted positions actually filled, which is creating additional
Correct.
payroll. Is that
no,
accurate too?
no,
Is that
that, we always budget for 100%.
capacity.
We have,
So we
if she
pay-
has 20 employees, we budget for
But do we
all
pay
20 of them.
workers' comp on actuals or on budgeted?
What's budget is 100%. So this number of $230,000, 138 that we're paying this year is as if we were 100% staff. We always budget for that. And then when they go through their audit is when they make the adjustment.
So what you're also saying is we're paying a premium even when we're understaffed, right?
And then we'll get a reimbursement at the end of the year.
Yeah, they'll audit it versus actual payroll at the end of the year. And you'll either pay more or less, you know. I don't go through that audit, so I don't know how much it is. But You know, the issue is whatever your premium is, or should be, you know, again, you have to take, you have to take the judge, he's considered clerical. So his rate is .023. So you take his payroll and you times it times that rate. Then you take somebody who's working heavy machinery, and that rate is obviously higher, or somebody who's working at the jail or sheriff's department, you know, their exposure is higher, and that's how you calculate that rate. So every class code that you have, then you have your total premium, and then that premium is multiplied by your experience mod. And if it's a 1, it's a wash. So if you paid $100 in premium, multiply it times 1, you pay $100. Anything below 1 is a discount. Anything above 1 is you're paying additional. You're being penalized. Man, we went from 0.77 to 1.5.
Yeah.
You think that's the major?
I've never ever seen that.
You think
type of
that's the major
increase.
reason and why it's so much higher? Was that
Yeah, that mod
specific? That
doubled.
mod is why it's
It's the primary driver.
Well, it's, yeah.
that's
There's a whole lot of different.
over anything else. You know, the increased payroll.
$808,000 of additional payroll is like, and again, it depends on where that payroll was applied. If it was applied in this line item or this line item or that line item. But, you know, it's somewhere around $8,000 to $20,000. It just depends on what their rate code is, you know. So, you know, yeah, additional payroll did cause you a little bit more in workman's comp.
But not as much as the mod increase.
But not as much as the mod increase. I mean, mod increase is crazy. I've never in my life seen that big of a mod increase. That
It's
is almost,
double.
yeah.
You know, we've had several injuries
Almost 100%.
that drove this as much as anything. And that's the big thing. I mean, as you said, it's gonna take 2 or 3 years. But KCO is coming in with, training programs that will be mandatory for all employees, including myself.
That's all we do.
It'd be
And
nice to
that's
see
about all we can
Clint
do. I mean, we tried
Combs up here
getting with the other,
explain that to us.
we
you know.
tried getting with other, companies, and no one else that specializes in county business except, and we're kind of at a standstill on that. I mean, as you said, the different levels of, danger, drives the insurance cost. And unfortunately, that's it.
So is it possible to have that Clint Combs or Will
Combs, correct.
Lowe, whoever, I always thought David Clark was our agent on this.
He's our local agent, but he works directly with Clint Combs. Clint has been here multiple times with us, and
Okay.
and what do you need? What do you want me to?
Well, I mean, you know, again, you know, I keep using the word "it," and it's not a proper word, but I don't know what to call it. I don't know what our, you know, and again, I know you know, he's explained it to you, but as far as the rest of the court, we don't know what claims and
Correct.
what, you know, so we don't know what to address, and he needs to come and educate us on this and say, guys, y'all had 14 claims with back injuries. You had 6 people trip over the sidewalk on the front corner of the, you know, whatever. I mean, you know.
When you look at that sidewalk.
Drug-related issues, you know, it could be a number of things.
Correct.
Have we had 6 people?
We have,
No, I'm
That's a
making all that
supposition.
up.
I was gonna say, hypothetical, I was gonna say, really?
Yeah, yeah. No, I made all
Somehow
that
missed
up.
some of that.
what I can do is I've got that in my office. I can share with you guys everyone. I don't want to actually say what it is because it could be, it points fingers immediately, but I will share it with you guys.
Okay.
I mean, initially, all we do is just acknowledge that we're facing this increase, right? I mean, we don't have a choice at this point.
I don't know if y'all can check with Kentucky Employees Mutual Insurance Company, that's Kimmy, that's who the school system has ours through. And they come in and work with us and give us, we meet with them a couple times a year, they go over our mods with us, and let us see how we're doing. And we do trainings that keeps your mod down, and, you know, it's all about how many claims you have, but I don't know if they do school, I mean,
Well, KEMI is the state pool. They do everything. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. KEMI has to write it. It's the state pool. So if you're a logger, a roofer, a teacher, or a heavy equipment operator, they have to write it. They can't.
What the problem ends up being is, the workers' comp is fine, but they also have to do the KLF, which is basically providing lawyers and stuff. And I don't know if the state, the one you're talking about, does that, because KCO says you either take both or take none. And unfortunately, that's where we're at. Joe and I have had many discussions about this, about the Cal and KLF, and we're both actually tremble thinking that we would get rid of that.
Well, we got the problem in hand, we gotta deal with it now, and then hopefully the training, they can look at that and.
Karen and I had a meeting with them, we discussed and decided that's what we wanted to do, is to do some mandatory training and whatever it takes to try to relieve some of this pressure off of this. With that being said, you have it presented in front of you unfortunately, the way it is. So I have a motion to accept.
Do we need a motion?
Do we just acknowledge it?
No.
I don't know.
No.
All right.
They don't have to.
Is that not something we solicited, right? I mean, it's something we already had.
Yes. All right, moving on. Acknowledge the receipt of Logan County Tourist Convention and Commission's fiscal year 24-25 budget.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. No discussion, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Number 3, acknowledge the receipt of Russellville Logan County Airport's fiscal year 24-25 budget.
I didn't get it.
Motion,
It's not-
oh,
but
no, this is the
It's just a request for the fund.
request for
I'm
funds.
sorry.
What happened, Olivia?
I don't know what happened, y'all.
I'll tell you what happened. I read the agenda, not this.
I make a motion to accept the transfer of the $19,000 to the Logan County Airport.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Hey, Judge, with that, can we see their budget? Can we make a request to see it?
They present it every year.
I just don't remember. But Libby, can you send me a copy of it?
Have we had that one yet?
I've seen it years after years.
Oh, next time I see George, I'll see if I can
I'll get it for you.
get it.
All right. Number 4, approved to advertise for the treatment of Red River, Whippoorwill Creek, and Little Whippoorwill, and Pleasant Grove Creek with Vectobac.
Motion to approve.
Okay. I have a motion and a second.
Was that a second?
Real fast.
Oh,
Oh, second.
Who seconded?
Motion and a second.
Okay.
If no further discussion, roll
Gonna
call.
make the motion.
Davenport,
yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Number 5, hold a public hearing for the purpose of removing 377 feet from A.P. Miller Road from the Logan County road system. If you have anything you'd like to discuss, I have several here, so please come forward.
Good morning.
Morning.
I had a little map of the road that we're talking about, just so y'all can have something visual. I represent a local council for Silicon Ranch, and they had made this request. A.P. Miller Road comes around all the way that Silicon Ranch is leasing, and doesn't go any further or serve any other properties. And so we're just requesting that 377 feet be brought out of the county. Silicon Ranch has agreed that at the end of where the road would end at the property line, they would make sure that there was a turnaround large enough for a school bus if someone comes back there. I understand there was some concern about the money that the county has spent to maintain this road over the last few years. Joe Ross told me that the road department has said that they estimate about $1,000 has been spent, and Silicon Ranch would like to offer to pay $2,500 for the last 5 years that they've had the property under lease to reimburse the county for what the county has spent to maintain that part of the road.
Well, that's good.
I feel like that's more than reasonable.
I do too.
I mean, I definitely would, you said something about the bus turnaround. I definitely would like to see if we can make that part of the motion that we contingent upon the turnaround and the 2,500. I mean, I think.
I'm not sure I made it clear. The blue line is what the 377
Yeah,
feet
Yep.
no, it
is.
was clear.
But
Did
that's
you get yours?
Yeah, Tyler, I think that's good.
more than reasonable.
Is there any?
Okay.
Because today is the road hearing.
The ATM
This
here.
is today's the road hearing for the removal, right? So
Yeah.
we just need to,
Is there any opposition? I mean, there's other people here.
I think we have to hear from someone that might have an opposition or.
I know it's been advertised.
Yeah, it has.
Dan, you want to keep it on county or?
Yeah.
Can we accept this based on contingency that they mentioned?
Yeah, I think that would
Okay.
be.
Yep.
Chris, you want?
Are you fine with
You
picking
got
up
the word.
I make a motion to approve removing 377 feet of AP Miller Road from the Logan County road system after having our public hearing, contingent upon
Bus time.
bus turnaround at the end of what would be at the beginning of the 377 feet that we're removing, and the $2,500 reimbursement from Silicon Ranch for the county spent expenses over the years. So.
Have a motion and a second by Chris. Is there any further discussion?
Thank you.
If there's no further discussion, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes,
Bolden,
No.
Baker.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Hey, Amy.
Number 7, transfer inventory number 0324.
No, 6.
I'm sorry.
you've got a
I-
Ford
That's
Escape
what
going
happens
under
when I go
Escape.
and
been a long weekend.
remark mine off. I'm trying to speed us through. I mean, Jamie
Hey,
cut me off before I
we
got
ain't
my
doing
motion made a minute ago.
Hey, we getting antsy.
Number 6, sorry, discuss options for repairing or replacing Logan County's ECC's 2019 Ford Escape SE.
I whacked a deer. Really bad.
Is that part of that mod? No,
Probably.
I'm just joking.
I did, I mean,
of your calf.
it's been,
KALF.
I was gonna try
The
to
other
get a
one.
copy of the report, but since
It's
RPD
been-
doesn't have a roof right now, did y'all get a copy of the police report? RPD
Yes.
doesn't have a roof right now, so I didn't want to bother them with that. I got 2 estimates, we have talked to Keiko, and they have
Yeah, I
totaled,
saw.
Yes.
They totaled it.
they totaled it. I guess the way I hit it was just.
Which
right.
there's 3 pages.
And the vehicle was worth 6,000 something, or
Yeah,
6,400 and 8,400.
both the quotes are over.
it's only. I mean, I feel like a 2019 is not that old, but that's just me.
Well, you know what, I guess they think about this almost 6 years now, and I mean, it has miles on it.
It's got a bunch of miles on it.
How long is it, like 200 something?
160, but they're cheap vehicles anyway.
Yeah. It just, I guess just the way I hit it.
It's on there. That looked up for 9.2. That's what I'm about to say. There's
But,
an actual.
they're $2,000 difference in the quote, but I have been doing addressing, as y'all seen on the bill list, I seen in some mileage where I did some addressing. The only thing that bothered me was bad is I really miss having my radio, because I got cornered the other day when I was out there. Somebody wanted to know, told me I was trespassing. Of course, I was in my car, so I have nothing, so.
No marking?
No marking, because it's mine. But I didn't have any markings on the other one either. I was told it decreased the value, but, when we got that one in, we got it in 18.
Yeah.
So I would like to put something on this, if we fix this one, which I'm all for doing whatever the court wants me to do. Just as long as I got something to address, I'm fine.
You can get magnetic decals.
And I
but
thought
then
about ordering those for right now, just to have.
They're
something.
pretty good.
Well, let's be honest, is after these vehicles have served their purpose, what sticker's not gonna make a dime worth of difference. on
No,
these
but
vehicles.
she wouldn't be mistaken for somebody personal.
And
And you can take it off and put it on the next one.
My car's not gonna make it a lot of those places.
What's your recommendation?
I don't see any sense in fixing it.
I mean, I hate to spend $8,000 on a $7,000 vehicle.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm like that too, but.
I'm kind of in the same boat.
I didn't think
I'd
it
say-
looked that bad, but I guess it's just the way it did it. It caught right in the fender.
Well, all the plastic in the
It's,
front and just.
Can we put her on the rotation of the?
I got a 2001 Crown Vic still runs.
There we go.
Can I lower it down?
She can hit all the deer she wants to there.
It
Oh, that's
runs.
good.
Hey,
Put some
that's what-
24s on it?
that-
My recommendation is that we accept it as a total and we just start looking and see if we can't find her something pretty quick. That's my recommendation. Because, I mean, like Jason said, I hate to spend almost $8,000 on a vehicle that has less.
I mean, you never know, but.
The total payout would be after deductible would be $73.95.
After the.
Yeah.
And you
That
do
email's
want
in
it
there. It's
designated what it
I
is.
didn't.
I
So
see that
people
part.
don't question it.
Yes, I
Yeah,
just want to put something on it, just to kind of, I really, really miss my radio. I didn't realize how much I used it in my vehicle, even if it wasn't to use it, I can't hear anything. And a portable, it's not gonna get as much coverage,
No.
so, but after I explained to the guy who I was and what I was doing and said, hey, look, do you know these people? He was okay, but, that was a little bit intimidating.
Well, can't we just get decals so that no matter what vehicle she uses, she can move them?
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
They're not that
I mean,
expensive.
But
Yeah.
if once we get her a new vehicle on, we're gonna put some type of striping or stickers or
Okay,
something on
okay.
it, just saying what she
I'm just
is.
thinking
So
those
that,
things.
Yeah, I'm trying
Stick to the
trying
sides.
not to get behind, because they're still building houses, as y'all can see, left
Oh,
and
yeah.
right.
my recommendation is we go ahead and accept this, just as a total vehicle, take that money. We're gonna have to add something to it, and I'll figure out an idea and just get her a different vehicle.
How quick can we get her a vehicle, though?
If you give me I don't know. We'll just have to look around and kind of get an idea of what we're looking for.
You go for vehicle for 2 or 3 months.
Well, I did before,
Looking
but actually, I took over my husband's and give him mine, which he's very happy with having my car right now, but I definitely didn't want to address it mine.
You do keep it, when we pay you mileage, right?
Yeah, I did turn
Okay.
it, I didn't, I don't turn in the going back and forth to work, I'm just turning in
Yeah.
the
Going out
address.
and address, yeah.
The
And you
things
should,
that,
and you
I
should.
mean, I didn't realize how much we listened to the radio. It was kind of funny, right after it tore up, we were on the way to school, and Carter said, well, Joe had mad traffic stop this morning, 'cause we used to listen to him every morning. He'd stop somebody in the school zone, but.
Yeah, he's
you
got
know,
somebody every
I didn't
day.
realize how much I listened to it.
Right.
All right, so based on the judge's recommendation, I'll make a motion to take the salvage, or the salvage value on the car, whatever that means.
And it's out at the road barn, so I'll get all my stuff out of it.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion?
No.
If not, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
All right, now on to number 7. Transfer inventory number 0324 to inventory 01221, burgundy meeting chairs from Logan County Fiscal Court inventory to courthouse.
So moved.
Second.
That was
I have a motion and a
fast.
second, no further discussion, roll call.
Davenport.
Yes.
Goodwin.
Yep.
Wilcutt.
Yes.
Harper.
Yes.
Crawford.
Yes,
Bolden.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Number 8,
Ooh, you're
amend
right,
order
what
number
you
17 on January 9, 2024, fiscal court meetings on motion of Jamie Goodwin, duly seconded by Tyler Davenport to approve to surplus various pieces of office equipment from the Logan County Sheriff's Department inventory. See file dated January 9, 2024, complete list of items. To read on motion of Jamie Goodwin, duly seconded by Tyler Davenport to approve to surplus, send to e-scrap, and delete various pieces of office equipment to Logan County Sheriff's Department inventory.
Make a motion again.
All that, I made a motion.
Second. We'll
Have a
keep it
motion
the
and a
same.
second.
Same people.
With no further discussion, roll call.
Davenport.
Yes.
Goodwin.
Yes.
Wilcutt.
Yes.
We'll screw it
Harper.
up again.
Yes.
Crawford.
yes,
Bolden.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Number 9, amend order 18 from January 9th, 2024 fiscal meetings on motion of Tyler Davenport, duly seconded by Thomas Bolden to
You
approve
helped screw that one.
surplus of various pieces of office equipment in Logan County Fiscal Court inventory. To read on motion by Tyler Davenport, duly seconded by Thomas Bolden to approve to surplus and e-scrap the delete various pieces of equipment to the Logan County Fiscal Court inventory.
So moved.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Hold on.
Second.
Second. No further discussion, roll call.
Davenport.
Yes.
Goodwin.
Yes.
Wilcutt. Harper.
Yes.
Crawford.
yes,
Bolden.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Number 10, amend order number 18 on March 12th, 2024 fiscal court meetings on motion of Jason Harper, duly seconded by Ann Crawford, to approve to trade and delete a Zetter tractor from road department inventory number 02261, valued at $8,500, for a 2024 Case IH FC 100C4 tractor valued at $70,500 from H&R Agri-Power Russell at an individual cost of $62,000, and purchase a Land Pride 10-foot heavy-duty rotary cutter from H&R Agri-Power. Oh, I jumped the line, sorry about that. Value at $21,000 from total cost $83,000. To read on motion of Jason Harper, duly seconded by Ann Crawford, to approve to surplus, trade, and delete the Zetter tractor from road department inventory number 0261, valued at $8,500, for a 2024 Case IH FC 100C4 tractor valued at $70,500 from H&R Agri-Power Russellville, and an individual cost of $62,000, and purchase a Land Pride 10-foot heavy-duty rotary cut from H&R Agri-Power Russellville, and an individual cost of $21,000 for a total of $83,000. That was a mouthful.
So if I understand, Melly, what is the deal?
Literally the
deluge.
verbiage of surplus.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
That is it.
I had to read all that for the word
You
surplus.
have to surplus it before you delete it.
Yes.
So moved.
I'll second again.
If it makes you happy, I had
We've
asked the
screwed
same
up again.
question.
Yep.
What's the deal?
I'm willing to jump in there, hands
The
on.
ones, the previous were basically e-scrap too, so.
Okay.
I have a motion and I have a second. If no further discussion, roll call, please.
Davenport.
Yes.
Goodwin.
Yes.
Wilcutt.
Yes.
Harper.
Yes.
Crawford.
Yes,
Bolden.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
You can't delete something from your inventory list before you first declare it surplus.
so
I just didn't see
there's
the
an
word. I
error
was
in
like
this.
searching for the word that's different.
One word. Maybe two.
Just add surplus in there, did it, huh? Okay, I'll remember that.
All right, moving on. Item number 11, approve the updated House Bill 556 agreement.
Can you just give us a gist of what difference the update is, or is it just the new year, or?
I think the way, which Amanda had sent it to me, and she knew that she wouldn't be here. So 556, I'm pretty sure what it is the whenever we're housing state inmates before they ever get sentenced, or they know that they're going to be state inmates before they ever get sentenced.
Gotcha.
But in the email from the lady that sent it over, they just have to renew them every 2 years. So I don't know if there are any like true dates, but she said it's like every.
Looks like
I think it was
maybe-
2 or 3 years, one of the two.
Looks like they're just approving more or less the contact information. So.
Motion to approve?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin. Yes. Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Okay, we have no reason to go into executive session, so moving on to post agenda. On post agenda, I would like to discuss, for the personnel committee, I have sent you guys the updated version of the road department job descriptions. And I'd like to have a motion to have first reading of that.
But
Thought they were on the.
we don't have, we've already had the first reading of what we presented,
But
So
that
we
was,
sh-
but this is different.
so not, you didn't include those in the first reading?
No,
Oh.
not re-
What are we wanting to change?
Well, I sent y'all the entire list. I thought they were up on
Did
this
you?
drive. My apologies.
Is it on there? I didn't see it.
I don't remember getting that.
I don't-
But either way, for having a first
But,
reading.
let me just give you basically, we're just rewording some of the contracts and re-giving the job description, change of the names, basically requiring, just changing some verbiage to basically, there was some left out stuff on there about job descriptions and what they're, and one of the big things is basically just that they report directly to the supervisor. That was one of the lackings, and there's a few other job titles that need to be in there, and I apologize, I thought they were up on the drive. So.
Hey, you can go right, I can get them added real fast, but if you don't want to.
I think there were like 2 or 3, maybe 2 job descriptions that was part of our first reading of the salary schedule. So we can just make those changes on those
Correct.
before we have second reading, and then whatever other ones you need to change, I guess we're having the first reading for those.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. There's nothing major, it's
Nothing
just
major.
more or less just titles.
Motion to approve the first reading of job description changes to Logan County Road Department.
I have a motion and a second. If no further discussion, I'll have them up to you. I'll get them all sent over.
Yeah, we
Roll
can
call.
still make changes
Yes.
before the second reading, so.
Yes.
Might not happen before 23, 24 ends,
Roll
but
call. Davenport,
yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt. Yes. Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes, I have one other thing for post-agenda. A few months ago, we brought it back to you about the towers, the contract with the tower company. There was some major discrepancy that I didn't catch and you guys caught luckily, and Derek and I have been talking about it. Basically what it boils down to is there were 2 descriptions that we saw on there. One, we thought the second was the addition of both of those. What we found is that the big number, what was it, 30, my apologies, it was $30,000 because the other one was 15 to make a combination of 45. The second one is something we really don't need. What I ask you guys for is approval to go ahead and sign those contracts to get that, if started, as long as it does not
Exceed 30,000.
exceed $30,000.
Oh.
So we can go ahead and get those. It's been made light to me that there is a potential already a survey out there from years past, but I'm definitely gonna try to find that first before I even do this.
So the 30,000, so
The
that only
30,000
covers our current towers?
The 15,000 was going to be, from my conversation, was going to be an assessment with this current radio system of where tower locations should be located. The extra third, that was the 15,000, the location of these towers for our best needs, meeting our geographical coverage area that we're looking for. The additional 30,000 was them to come in and do an assessment of the interior of the EOC, the radio equipment. We don't need that. We just need the towers.
We need to know geographically what tower they got.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but that was just 15,000?
That was the 15,000.
So we don't need the 30,000?
No, I thought
No,
it
I don't
said
think
we
so.
Okay.
So why'd you say 30?
Well, 30 is what we approved through the court.
15 is what we approved through the court.
No, sir. 30.
No, I think it was.
30. We approved,
And
we
then it
approved
ended up being
30
45 because the two together.
because they combined the two. We thought the 30 was the
one we
addition of
needed.
the other, but it's actually, it was a separate.
So, but why are we doing 30 if we only need 15?
Well, but that way we don't have to change the motion, go back and change the motion to say, what I'm saying is just up to 30,000, since it's already there. I'm only gonna do the 15,000 if that's all it takes, but
What will be the negatives if you leave 30 instead of 15 we need? Is there a
I
negative?
will not go over 15. I'll come back and ask the court.
Okay.
if I do that. I'll-
Motion to
I'll
approve.
do that.
If that's what you need, motion to approve that. Up to 30,000?
But if we already,
We
no,
already
we
have the
rescinded,
motion.
okay, never mind,
This is
sorry.
to sign the contract if it
Sign the
becomes
contract.
available to the 15,000.
Okay?
Make a motion to approve the contract of 15,000.
That works for me.
Okay.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second. No further discussion. Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. And with that being said, if we find the old one and it is suited to meet the new standards of radio that we're looking at, then
Yeah.
we won't even need this. But I need to make sure, first off, that that's it. Next up.
Just make a note, our wounded budget warrior Amanda Stratton said it's to extend the GED program fees and attendance fees on that contract, the House bill. That's what it is. That's all it is. She's watching.
Confirmed today that the second was canceled. you said?
Canceled. Yes, sir.
That was scheduled.
It was canceled due to the weather, all the weather, and it just didn't seem like a good plan.
It's not rescheduled.
Not yet. We're working on that. When as soon as I do, you'll be the first to know.
Okay.
Do I entertain a motion to adjourn if there's no further discussion?
Make that motion.
Second.
All in favor, get up and leave.
Did you have any damage at your place?
Yeah.
Well, we did too. I mean, trees across our drive, we couldn't get out. We're getting kind of old for this, out there with chainsaws. But, you know, you do what you have to do. Now, Thomas, how do I get my chair up? Somebody is way down there. Yeah.